Hey boxing fans, what's going on? This is Ben, and I'm just gonna make a quick prediction on a couple of fights which are coming up tomorrow. That's Roy Jones Jr. versus Danny Green. That's for the IBO Cruiserweight Championship of the world, albeit a fringe belt. I'm also going to talk about the Bernard Hopkins Enrique Ornelas fight. Now, Roy Jones versus Danny Green. That fight's actually taking place in Australia, and it will be taking place in about 12 hours from now. Um, Making this video quite late as I'd been out of the city and away from my computer. Now, this is a dangerous fight for Roy Jones. It's his first time fighting out of the US as a professional, that is. Of course, we all know what happened when he fought out of the US in the Olympics. He got robbed, but that was a long time ago. Now, Danny Green is a guy who comes straight forward. He's pretty rough, but he's got a hefty punch on him. And if he cracks that chin of Roy Jones, it's quite possible that Roy Jones will go down. But I think we've seen in the last couple of Roy Jones fights, and I know the opposition, you know, Omar Shaker, not doing much with his career at this stage. I know he's recently won a fight. But then you have Jeff Lacey, who appears to be shot ever since he faced ever since he faced Joe Calzaghe. Also, he had a very bad injury, which didn't help that at all. Roy Jones looked amazing in those fights. He still has phenomenal hand speed. He still has punching power. He stopped both opponents. Now, if you noticed in the last few Roy Jones fights before that, and you especially saw it against Joe Calzaghe, Jones went away from his confident style of hand down, just ready to overwhelm an opponent. He kept going onto the ropes, inviting his opponent to come in. He was always like this on the ropes, almost like a winky right style. If you watch his Calzaghe fight, he's like this. Calzaghe's throwing 5-6 combinations at him, and he's not firing back, even though those combinations probably aren't the hardest punches, because as we know at this stage of Calzaghe's career, he's not a hard puncher. But yet Jones still showed respect for Calzaghe's power, or whatever it is that he does have. Calzaghe beat him pretty easily, despite the first round knockdown. First round knockdown, incidentally, was actually a forearm smash into Calzaghe's face if you watch the replays. Nevertheless, you do get the impression, had Jones had his confidence, he might have been able to take Calzaghe out. Jones says he's got his confidence back, and if you, like I said, if you look at his last two fights, it would appear that way. So I believe if he continues to fight in the way he has against Omar Shaker and Jeff Lacey, I believe he can destroy Danny Green, possibly even stop him. If we see a Jones who goes back to the way he fought against Calzaghe and the way he fought against Tarver in the third fight, like I said, like this, onto the ropes, inviting his man in, only throwing one shot at a time, he could actually even find himself outworked and on the wrong end of a decision for his point of view. But as I've got to make a prediction, I'm going to go for Roy Jones. I'm going to go for a stoppage by the referee, probably around rounds 9 or 10. Moving on to Bernard the Executioner Hopkins against Enrique Ornelas. That's taking place tomorrow evening in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, which is Hopkins' hometown. Of course, if both Jones and Hopkins win their fights, they will meet, I think, in a couple of months' time for a rematch, which will be tremendous. Anyway, I don't think this is going to be a difficult fight for Hopkins. I know Ornelas is a tough guy. Just looking at his record, he's only been stopped once. But if you do look at his record, you'll see that he lost to Marco Antonio Rubio, albeit by a split decision, last year. Now, I believe that was on the Pavlik Hopkins undercard, must have been. Now, Kelly Pavlik destroyed Marco Antonio Rubio with relative ease on his comeback fight in February. That tells me that Ornelas just won't have anything like the tools to deal with Hopkins. I believe Bernard Hopkins, who has said, he's been quoted as saying he's going to start going for knockouts again. I believe he can stop Ornelas, probably in the mid to late rounds, and again probably with the referee stepping in to stop Ornelas taking more punishment. There's only one thing that could affect Hopkins in this fight, and that is whenever you have a fighter who is in his mid-30s or over, there is the possibility that they can get old overnight. So that's always a possibility, but Hopkins is such a professional, such an excellent trainer, so diligent that I think we won't see any of those kind of problems. So I'm taking both Jones and Hopkins to win their fights. I'm looking forward to downloading them. Being in the UK, there's no way that there's any chance of seeing these fights live. Okay, so let me know what you think about these fights. Hopefully I'll see them within the next 24 hours or 36 hours if they're up online, and then I can give a review of that. Also, coming soon will be previews of Amir Khan's fight and Paul Williams' next fight. It's coming up on the weekend. Alright, so see you soon, boxing fans, and enjoy the fights.